So you come from a unique vantage point, having had experience in cable television and now with movie theater. What would you say are the differences between the measurement and maybe if you can talk about the differences in results of the research?
Interesting. I think because we're perceived as a newer platform, it's not just the analytics. Like in television, it's the television ratings and the evolution of that from live to the technology changes into producing C3. For us, it's how many people were in your theaters and how do we know how many people actually saw it. And we work with Nielsen, Screen Vision works with Nielsen specifically to produce third-party campaign posting. Um, so there is that evolution. Okay, we have the measurement. Nielsen's able to say Screen Vision has a certain amount of admissions, and then each and every plan is developed differently depending on what each client wants to purchase. And the metrics in the back end are that we have third-party verification through Nielsen about that audience level. We, for a lot of our clients, are doing custom research that shows about the recall and the likability and the purchase intent and other things that might be specific to them, like certain attributes, and the ways that we do the research. So we could do pre-post studies or test and control, and this happens a lot with our clients who are buying multiple months within a year and are taking advantage of the on and the off screen. So it's those two pieces together. It's the Nielsen data plus the posting that shows the verification through a third party, and then the consumer research.
Nielsen has ratings for cable television that are based on people meters. Is there some kind of equipment or um, analytic that Nielsen uses to standardize movie measurement?
I wouldn't say Nielsen specifically. Through working with Nielsen and their involvement with a company called IMMI, the Cinema Advertising Council actually had launched a study 2 years ago that was using their cell phone technology, which is able to pick up, I think, about 30 or more simultaneous audio sounds, and they're able to really know on true behaviors what people were exposed to. So not just the advertising, but the content around it, so that they would know if there was an ad for a particular retailer or wireless company that they actually saw it at the movies, because the content around it would be our pre-show or the trailers or the movie content itself. So we executed a study through the Cinema Advertising Council, our governing body, that used that to show how when you advertise programming in cinema and you compare it to on air on radio of different cable television networks, that we double conversion. So there's double the tune in when you look at TV only and TV and cinema in combination.
So Lauren, you've been doing this type of research for about 6 years, and you've come from a strong background in cable research. How would you say the movie audience has changed in the time that you've focused on cinema?
So from starting at Screen Vision at the end of '03 until now, I think that it's become even a bigger place for people to go. I think that Hollywood and their productions, with taking advantage of 3D, there are more 3D movies out there than ever, and the different digital technology, I think there's just more and more product out there that people are interested in, and they're making this part of their out-of-home entertainment choice more than ever. It is, from what we've seen through MRI research and other syndicated studies, probably one of the number one entertainment choices in the US. And so now just it's changed in that role. As technology changes, the product gets better and people want to go to the movies more. In 2009, it was over $10 billion in box office. It was an all-time high. Admissions were up around 4 or 5%.
You know, when I was starting in research, we knew that in order to get movie goers, you had to go young. 18 to 34 men, 18 to 49 in general. Is that still the same, or has the demographic expanded?
Right. I think in general, if you look at moviegoers, you are getting that like 12 to 49-year-olds. I think when you break out the segments and look at the different demographics, you are getting the 12 to 34, 12 to 24s going more frequently. So over the course of a year, you are reaching the broader demographics and the range of product that's out there. And the more frequent moviegoers tend to be your 12 to 34, 12 to 49, but you're also getting people at a younger age, so it's an advantage for marketers. They're able to reach people when they're making their decisions about brands that they want to use.
Is there any interest in 25 to 54s, or even 35 plus in the movie cohort?
In terms of advertisers who advertise with Screen Vision and in our sector, we have seen that with automotives, we've seen it with financial category, we've seen it with insurance. We've definitely seen an interest, especially with credit cards. I mean, there is an interest for that demographic, and then they advertise based on the time of year that suits their ability to reach that demographic at the theaters. So maybe not perhaps in July, but maybe at times in March or April or October and September. So those might be better platforms for them based on the product that's in the theaters to reach that demo.
Just a quick question in terms of the mechanics. So if you have a movie that's airing as the same title throughout the day, is the commercial mix different in the morning than it is at night?
Oh, that's an interesting question. The inventory is the same across. The way that we execute it is that we usually run, at least on a national basis, for a 4 or 5 week period. And the advertising, if say there's about 4 or 5 movies in an average day, the advertising will run that way throughout that month.
So there's nothing to say there's a different audience during the day than there would be. Like Saturday morning or afternoon might have a different audience than Saturday night.
Yes, there's definitely a different demographic, and you definitely find that families and kids are tending to go on the weekends in the morning, the shows before 3 o'clock. But that is how we sell, so we give advertisers the opportunity to be able to buy GPG if they're only trying to reach that demographic group, or if they want to reach an older audience, they have the ability to do the PG-13R, and then if they want to reach a broad mass, they can advertise in all ratings.
I see.